Alright guys, today I want to make a video called Is a Hedgehog the Right Pet for You? I've done some informational videos on hedgehogs and kind of like before you buy a hedgehog, what you should know. This one I'm going to kind of talk about if a hedgehog might be the right pet for you or not. I get lots of questions all the time asking me all different things about hedgehogs, if they'd be good for kids, if they'd be good for, are they snuggly, are they, so and so on. It's all types of questions about how they act as pets. So I wanted to kind of talk about it. Now you gotta think that, obviously these guys are spiky. So they're not gonna be the type of pet that's, super snuggly really. But as you can see here, I've got my girl, she's about over 5 years old now, I believe. And although she's not, soft and really pettable, you don't really pet a hedgehog all that much, she would sit with me for, a little bit of time watching a movie, or she'd kind of just chill out here. She's not trying to get away. That being said, when she was younger and when hedgehogs are younger and brand new, they're not super snuggly. They'll often, ball up. It's a natural thing for them. And until you get them tame like she is, they'll often not be the greatest to just hold and, keep on you or whatever. So you got to kind of think. There's all types of pets out there that people keep. There's pets like snakes and chinchillas, which chinchillas are handleable, but again, they're kind of active. There's all types of pets out there that aren't really snuggly, and you got to decide, is it a pet that you want, and you got to understand kind of what they are like if you want to own one. So these guys will live up to 8 years, usually in captivity around 6, and they're great pets, but like I said, you got to know what you're getting into. They are very often ornery. They're very often slightly angry, and it's not angry really, it's just kind of their natural defense. They're very protective animals in nature and stuff. They'll ball up and put their spikes up. So until they really know you, they're not going to necessarily uncurl like she is right now. It could take some time. So it's going to be a learning process for both you when you get your hedgehog. It's going to take some time for the hedgehog to get to know you and get comfortable around you so that it doesn't do its instinctual things like curling up into a ball and trying to hide. Because hedgehogs aren't super social animals. They can become social with their owners, and some, I've seen videos where they'll play like tug of rope. I've seen videos where they'll do all types of cool things. However, it takes lots of time and patience. So if you got a lot of time and patience and you really want to put it into your pet, it could be a great pet for you if it's what you want. Don't just go out and buy a pet, hedgehog or any type of pet, without researching and realizing what you're getting into. These are living things that live many years, and if you want to get one, make sure you know what you're getting into. Like I said, I have other videos called like Before You Buy a Hedgehog, Watch This, where I talk a little bit more about hedgehog care and some other things you should know. Other than that, hedgehogs are pretty easy. Caring for them is pretty easy. Once you have a cage set up, you really don't need that much. You can feed them cat food mixed with some insects, some veggies, and some fruits from time to time. They're pretty easy to care for, so that is one nice thing about them. They can be pretty much, left in their cage, and all you have to do is feed and water them. Take them out to play with them to get them tame, but they really are pretty easy to care for. I'd say they're not any harder than a hamster. You basically clean their cage once a week, fully clean it out, and you keep food and water in there. It's really not that hard to care for them, but they're not a pet for everybody. Some people are worried about the spikes, and when you first get them, if you're really worried about them, get some thin leather gloves, or thicker ones, whatever you feel comfortable with. Some people will put a piece of clothing like a shirt or a sock or something like that in their cage to get them more used to the human scent. There's all types of little tricks like that you can do, but once you get a nice one, they'll pretty much get to know you if you spend time with them. This one I took out a lot when she was younger, and she's very used to humans, so she's really nice. Hedgehogs usually don't bite, but I've heard that people have been bitten. I've never been bitten by a hedgehog, but it can happen. You got to be careful with kids, because kids can make them use their instincts more. If you got kids that are poking at them or not being really calm around them, they can end up getting mean. But it's really just their instincts. They're hiding. They're more scared than mean. So kids, they're okay pets for kids as long as the parent is really the one that's caring for the hedgehog and keeping an eye on it. But it's a great pet for a family that has, maybe the parents and the kids decide together they want one, and they're all going to help care for it. that's fine. Just you know, the parents have to be informed, and the parents have to keep up on handling it, watching and supervising it when it's out, and so on. They can be litter box trained, but I just use a cage, kind of like a hamster would do. It's bigger than a hamster cage, of course, but kind of like a hamster would do. You know, you just have your bedding in there, and once a week you clean it out. Other things about these guys is they are prone to some diseases, especially if you buy one from, you know, just a random place. They could have mites, they could have foot and mouth disease, some of them get. I've been lucky and none of my hedgehogs have had any type of really illness really, so I haven't had to bring them and get them, you know, fixed up at a vet or anything. But you should find a vet that's in your area that will take a hedgehog, and it's best to find one before you need it. So, you know, call around, see what vets are around, and see if there's one that'll take hedgehogs, because they are kind of a specialized pet, so not all vets will. Some vets just pretty much work on cats and dogs. Other vets do a lot more. Some vets work mostly on birds. So call around to find a vet that will take hedgehogs. Find that before there's a problem. Then if there ever is a problem, you're good to go. Now they're a little easier than things like ferrets or so in terms of vets, because like a ferret you would want to bring to a vet and get vaccinated, and you'd want to get it neutered, although most of them come neutered and stuff like that. But these guys don't have any vet bills yearly. As long as they're not sick, you really don't have to take them to a vet. So that's one nice thing about them. Their food is pretty inexpensive. Overall, they're great pets. I just kind of wanted to get the point across that kind of compare them, and it's a completely different pet, I know, but I'm saying kind of compare them to a snake. You know, a snake is, you can handle some of them you can't handle really. Some snakes will sit on your arm and sit there for hours and be just fine, kind of like this hedgehog will. She'll sit with me for a long time and be just fine. Other snakes you can't handle, they'll try to bite you, you know, it's hard to tame them, and that's how some hedgehogs are too. I've had a couple hedgehogs, like I said, none bit, but I've had a couple hedgehogs that were a little bit more just, I guess, scared, and even though I tried to handle them, one of them was her sister actually, and she's just, I got one nice sister and then I got one brat, and I can handle her, she won't bite me, but she curls up a lot more, she's more defensive. She uses her instinctual fight or flight response more, but instead of fighting or flighting, it's more like curl into a ball and you know, be defensive. So it's just something you got to think about getting into. Whenever you buy any pet, you know, definitely research, figure out as much as you can about them. These guys do need their nails clipped sometimes, but I'm looking at her nails and I haven't clipped them in at least a month or two, and they're fine. They need a wheel to run on. Like I said, I've talked about lots of this in my other videos about Hedgehog Care. But they're really cute pets and they're really awesome. Lots of people love them, and basically it's kind of like, it's not like a cat or dog that just pretty much instantly loves you. Like, it takes some time and patience. You got to handle them, take them out of the cage, and they can turn into great hedgehogs. So I just wanted to talk a little bit about that. Like I said, if you guys have any questions about hedgehogs or any type of you know, behavior questions, just submit a comment and I'll try to get back to you as soon as I can. So for now, happy pet keeping. We'll see you later. Say bye-bye. Well, I was going to shake her hand, but she was curled up a little bit. See, I'll show you one last thing. They're very defensive. If you kind of touch them in the wrong spot, they'll kind of curl into a ball, but she's pretty good, like I said. So, anyways, guys, see you later.